Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tiffany and in today's video, I thought I would share with you a little bit of a weight loss journey update. I know that you guys have been so incredibly supportive and I just can't thank you enough. And I had asked on a recent video if it was something that you'd be interested in hearing more about, and a very large majority of you said yes. If this is not a video for you, please feel free to click out. If this gives you any kind of feelings other than, positive ones, then please do not feel like you have to watch this. I recognize that this is my journey. This is outside of the norm of what I typically post. However, I know a lot of you might be on a similar journey or curious, and some of you just like to be supportive, and I sincerely appreciate that. But by no means do you need to feel like you have to watch this. But if you're interested in learning more, then let's get right into it. So a few years ago, I don't think it was last year, it might have been the year before. Honestly, I don't remember anymore, but maybe it was last year, I don't remember. I had talked on my channel about wanting to go on a weight loss journey, and just a little bit of tiny backstory history, if you will. I have always been a thicker girl. That's the word we like to use in our house, thick. I've always been a thicker girl. I've always just carried a little extra weight, especially in my tummy area, my hips, my legs. That's just my body type. My face, I've always been a girl that had like the extra chin, you know what I mean? Chin or two. And some of my kiddos have also picked up that same, body type. And it's just genetics, you know what I mean? But when I was younger, I would obsess, especially in high school, I obsessed about my weight. And there were times that I went on extreme diets of eating saltines and water every day. You know what I mean? I remember I wanted to be a size 8 so badly. I was always a size 11 growing up, and I wanted to be a size 8. And so I went on this, fast diet, if you will, and it was terrible for my body. And I just think that not fueling my body properly as a child, as an adolescent, I wreaked havoc on my metabolism. And then when I got engaged to Danny, I did Weight Watchers for the first time, and I lost 50 pounds right before my wedding. I was in the best shape of my life. I was going to the gym every single day. Danny and I went to the gym every day after work, and I felt amazing. I looked amazing. I'll put a picture up here. Like, I was so happy with the way that I looked. I remember the first time I really got a glimpse of how much weight I had lost. I had gone to help my sister-in-law move, and I walked by a full-length mirror, and I was like, wow. Because I've been one of those people that, my whole life, I don't mind a mirror from here up. Like, when I would take pictures, I would just be like, take it from, my neck up or my chest up. But I would always try to avoid full body shots, because I just knew that I wasn't going to be happy with the way that I looked in the picture. So fast forward, over the years of having kids, I have 5 children, but I've had 6 pregnancies. We do have a baby in heaven, and I was pregnant every single year for 10 years. So a lot of times that looked like giving birth, at the beginning of the year, and then being pregnant by the end of the year. So pregnant or breastfeeding. I was always pregnant or breastfeeding, and I just felt like for the first half of my marriage, I was not in charge of my body. It was always belonged to somebody else. I put on a lot of weight with my daughter, and then I never fully lost my pregnancy weight before I got pregnant with the next child. And so it just kind of compounded, over the years. I got pregnant with Ronan. Ronan is number 3 for me, and I had pneumonia, and I got really sick, and I actually lost weight because I couldn't eat. So I actually gave birth 15 pounds lighter when I was pregnant with him, but I was still significantly higher than I was when I had gotten married or, when I had been really active. As I got bigger, I got more sedentary, unfortunately. And also I battled really bad postpartum depression with 2 of my pregnancies. My second pregnancy and my 4th pregnancy, I just had terrible, terrible postpartum. And to the point where I was good. I got myself help. I used pharmaceutical help. I used therapy. The only things I didn't use was exercise. I wish I had found a way to move my body more, because knowing now what I know, I wish that I had just done better then. But I was in survival mode with tiny little kids. And, my kids range. They're 9 years apart from my oldest to my youngest. But like I said, I was just having them back to back. I wouldn't change that for the world now. I'm just explaining how I got to where I am. Then COVID hit, and you guys, I don't know if it was the depression of it all. I don't know if it was just never leaving the house. I don't know. I put on probably 40 to 50 pounds in a year, and it was scary. It was really not good. And that is when I decided enough is enough. So back in February, right after the Super Bowl, I very, very vividly remember this. It was the day after the Super Bowl. I was so swollen from the day before, just eating everything, because it's the Super Bowl, that's what we do, that I called my doctor and I was like, I need to come in and be seen. I need you to check my blood pressure because I am retaining so much water. This cannot be good. This cannot be healthy. I think that, something's wrong with me. So she made me an emergency appointment. I went in. I was at the highest I had ever weighed. And I'm just going to I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I was 266 pounds at my heaviest in February. And I just stood on that scale and silently cried. And my doctor, I'm going to cry about it now. She was so incredible. She was a new doctor to me. This was literally the first time I had ever seen her, because I was just establishing care with her in this new medical facility. And I just was crying, and she said, we got to do something, because if you stay on this route, it's going to kill you. And she was so sure when she was going to check my blood work that I was going to be pre-diabetic, that I was going to have all of these, problems, especially because that kind of stuff runs in my family. But luckily, I was not pre-diabetic. I did not, my cholesterol was fine. My blood pressure was good. Everything looked good, which she then kind of flipped the narrative and said to me, there's no reason why you're not moving your body. There's no reason why you're not losing weight. And that's when we discovered 2 things. One, I was in perimenopause. I am in perimenopause, and I was having significant issues with my reproductive system. And I would go months without having a period. And then when I would, they would last for 3 to 4 to 5 months. It was not good. I was becoming anemic, and it was just causing significant problems with my body. I had endometriosis, and I also had a uterine prolapse. And she just said, we got to get this out. She said, if we take care of this, if we get a hysterectomy, you're going to feel better on your feet, and you're going to feel, better exercising. The other thing is I have pretty bad arthritis in my hands and my feet. I also have it in my knees. But my hands are pretty bad. My fingers are just all kinds of crooked. And when I'm driving, it really hurts. I usually drive with my pinkies out. And my feet are really bad. And when I saw the podiatrist, he said to me, you have to lose weight, Tiffany, because you're just making it worse. Yes, it's degenerative. Yes, it's going to get worse over time. But when you're heavy, he said, for every 10 pounds you lose, that's 40 pounds off of your feet. And I was like, So he was like, you know, we could do all these things. He's like, I can load your feet up with cortisone shots, and, you know, we can do all of these things, but he's like, it's not going to change the rapid pace at which your arthritis is getting worse unless you lose the weight. One of the problems for me was, like I said, perimenopause, and just what that's doing to my body, what it's doing to my arthritis, what it's doing to all of that. And then the second thing for me is that I am insulin resistant. So no, I am not pre-diabetic, but I am dealing with insulin resistance, which means my body is not processing insulin the way that it should be, or as effectively as it should be. And that was, you know, a big eye opener. I think it was things that I kind of knew, but, you know, hearing it from the doctor, seeing, you know, what it's really doing to my body, and the fact that perimenopause was kind of ramping up that insulin resistance was like a big eye opener for me. It was, you know, I had to make a change, or else this was only going to get worse and worse and worse. And so she prescribed, well, first we scheduled my hysterectomy. So that was, you know, we got to get that done. And second was, she really pushed for me to try prescription weight loss medication. And we talked about all of the weight loss options. We talked about, you know, scheduling an appointment with the nutritionist, which I did. We talked about, you know, things that I'd done in the past, like keto, you know, eating low carbohydrates, and trying to attack the insulin resistance that way. We also talked about, you know, Weight Watchers, which I had done before. I know it's a different program now, but whatever I had done before, you know, she said, can we talk about why those didn't work? And when I talked to the nutritionist, it really just boiled down to, I have pretty severe anxiety. And when I am told I can't have something, it makes me feel very, very anxious. So when I'm, you know, only able to eat from this small food list, it starts to make me panic. So when we're going out to dinner or going to a birthday party or something like that, and I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be able to have a piece of birthday cake again, even though that's not true, but that's how I felt in the moment. That just made things 10 times worse. And then I would end up binging, and then I would go back on the diet, and then I would binge. And it just, I never was able to get momentum and get going. So then we settled on the option of trying weight loss medication. And I was very nervous and apprehensive about it, because you hear so many people say so many negative things about people who are on weight loss medication. And a lot of times when somebody does lose weight, they'll say things like, oh, you must be on Ozempic. And then all of a sudden the person's like, no, I did it, you know, I worked hard, is what you'll hear people say. I worked hard. And so I was like, I just don't know if that's for me. I'd also heard all these horror stories about like stomach problems, and but luckily I had a friend, and I'm not going to say who because I don't know how they feel about me doing that. But I have a friend who took weight loss medication and she had a really good success story with it. So I said, let's give it a shot. And Zepbound had just been approved by the FDA for weight loss. And it is a trizepatide medicine. It's a GLP-1 and a GLP-2. I'm not going to get into the science of all of that. I am not a doctor. You can Google it. You can see what it does. But primarily, the biggest things for me, and I've talked about this in a previous video, you may or may not have seen it, but for me, what it does is it like gets rid of my cravings and significantly slows down my gastric emptying. So it just means it like slows down how quickly food is leaving my stomach. So I feel fuller longer, and it's been able to help me with portion control, and it's really been able to help me with cravings. Like that's the number one thing that I would say, is that, you know, before, when I would have really hot, like hardcore cravings for cake or cookies or ice cream, I'm a big sweets gal. I would really, really struggle. Can we just talk about, I don't know if you guys can see that down in this corner right here, this is Tallulah in my pantry. She gets fed wet food in the pantry because she has bad teeth because she's so old, and she just sits in there waiting for me to feed her. So if I open that door, she's just gonna run to where the food is because she just wants me to feed her again. But so nobody panic, my cat is not locked in the pantry. That's just where she goes. That's why 90% of the time the pantry's open. I close it when I film. So she put in the trizepatide, or put in the Zepbound prescription, and for 2.5 milligrams, that's the lowest where you start, and then you titrate up as your body learns to metabolize that, and you can move up a little higher and higher. It took me a long time to get prior authorization from my doctor, or from my insurance company. The craziest thing is a lot of times with these medications, you have to have BMI, a high BMI, plus like a secondary contributing factor to why you need to take a medication like this. So a lot of times it'll be like high BMI plus your A1C is high, or you're pre-diabetic, or you've got sleep apnea, or things like that. My BMI was so high, that alone, I was at like 40 something percent. My BMI alone qualified me for the medication. So that was kind of a big eye opener. Sorry, I had a tickle in the back of my throat. Then there was a massive shortage when I got my prescription in February. It was right after Oprah had put out a video about weight loss medications. And I never watched it, but I think it was like her success on it. And it was next to impossible to get a hold of my medication because people can, pay, there's like companies that you can pay, like concierge doctors that will write you a prescription. So anybody can really get it. And you can have the prescription and pay for it out of pocket. Insurance doesn't always pay for it. But so for me, it was hard. I couldn't get a hold of it. So I didn't finally start on the Zepbound until the end of February. However, I didn't wait until then to start with my calories. That was the thing. My nutritionist said, just count calories. Don't complicate it. She's like, it's all about how much you're taking in and how much you're burning. So I downloaded the MyFitnessPal app. It's free. You can pay for an upgraded version. I don't. But you just download the app. You log everything you eat. A lot of times the things are already in there, so you don't have to figure it out on your own. And then you just monitor. She told me to shoot for 500 to 600 calories per meal. Try to shoot for half my weight, or so, 100-ish pounds, or 100-ish grams, of protein and fiber, just getting a good amount of fiber, drinking a ton of water, and trying to move my body. At first, we just shot for like a 5,000 step goal. I know that probably sounds really low to some of you, but that is, that was where I was at. I think I was averaging on a work day, being in my office, I was averaging like 3,000 steps. And because my feet hurt so bad, I wasn't moving. I'm just being 100% honest. And then I would come home and I would spend my entire weekend on my feet, and I would be crippled by the end of the weekend. So that's what I started doing. And she said to me, you can, if you want, you can, limit carbs. You can, focus on your macros if you want to. She's like, but honestly, I just want you focusing on how many calories you're ingesting versus how many calories you're burning, how many in, how many out. And ideally, she said, you want to be in a 500 calorie deficit a day. 500 calorie deficit a day equals 3,500 calorie deficit by the end of the week equals a pound a week. And she said, that's like a healthy way to lose. And some of you might be thinking that's so simple. And you are exactly right. I feel like my whole life I have complicated weight loss. I have complicated food. I have complicated the human body. And she said, no matter what, it really does boil down to burning everything that you're using and then some. And when you get to your goal weight, you just eat what your body requires and you don't put on extra. And it just made so much sense to me. I don't know why it was such a struggle before. I think I just felt like, you hear, especially in Weight Watchers, they would tell us 100 calories of chips versus 100 calories of carrots look very different. And that's true. And that still applies here. But if I want a bag of chips, just have the bag of chips. Just count the calories and know where you're at. And so that's what I did. I started by just seeing where I was at. I really was not taking in too much calorie. I was doing okay. I was drinking a lot of calories because I was drinking soda. So I got rid of that, and like high sugar coffees, I only do that every now and again now. Not even every week do I like get a Starbucks or something. And then the other thing for me was I had to move my body. Like I had to move my body, and I couldn't walk because walking, like I have a treadmill downstairs, and walking on the treadmill was making my feet hurt 10 times worse. And so my doctor recommended that I swim or that I get a bike, like a recumbent bike. There's a cat meowing. Oh, it's you. Are you ready to come out? Do you hear her? She came out now. If the camera moves, it's because she's rubbing up against it. But so my sister-in-law had purchased a bike on Amazon. I will link it for you down below. It's very simple, affordable, nothing serious, doesn't involve, you know, any kind of membership. And she had an extra because she just had an extra, and so it ended up here at our house. Danny brought it over. We put it in our bedroom. I hate the way that it looks, and I know that in the past when we've had exercise equipment in our bedroom, it's just turned into an extra closet, but I vowed to get on there and watch an episode of, you know, Big Bang Theory, or watch an episode of Real Housewives of New Jersey or whatever, and just ride the bike, you know, at the one, like don't even have to turn up the resistance, nothing. And I started doing that, and all of a sudden I started hitting my calorie goal on my watch, and it felt so good. And I was slowly losing before I started working out, but once I added the exercise, it really started to fall off. It wasn't hurting my feet, so I was able to continue to do it. It was great. Then I started walking. I would go out for short little, you know, 7 or 8 minute walks outside. And then I saw an ad for an app called WalkFit, and I downloaded it, and it was like an indoor walk-in-place exercises, if you will. And so I downloaded it and started doing it. I put in my goals. I said what I wanted, you know, what my weight was, where I wanted to be. It created my daily step goal for me. It has me right now at 7,600 steps is my daily goal. My goal on my fitness app on my watch is 750 calories a day, 750 active calories a day. That means above and beyond what my body naturally burns, like just for existing. And the way that MyFitnessPal works, you put in what your weight is and what your goal weight is and how quickly you would like to get there, and it determines how many calories you should be eating every day. So I put in that I want to lose 1.5 pounds a week, and so it has me at 1,800 calories a day. So if I eat 500 calorie meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, that leaves me with, you know, a 300 calorie wiggle room for snacks, dessert, and any, you know, drinks that involve calories like coffee or, you know, something like that. Because my coffee, I use coffee creamer in it. So it just seemed really simple to me. And then when I work out, MyFitnessPal is connected to my watch. And when I work out, it gives me more calories. And typically I average about 300 calories a day that I earn back by working out. So I end up being able to eat somewhere around 2,000 calories a day, 2,000 to 2,100. I don't always eat all of that, but the days I'm hungry, you better believe I do. It's really that simple, you know what I mean? And so the WalkFit app, it has a daily exercise that you can do, and they started off as like 6 or 7 minutes, and then after a while of doing that, they move up, you know, then they're 12 minutes, then they're 15 minutes. Now the ones I'm doing are about 25 to 30 minutes long. And when I'm feeling really good, I'll do an additional one, and they burn, I put on mixed cardio on MyFitnessPal, and they burn roughly about 250 calories per half an hour. And so it's like doing, aerobics. And I did show like a clip in a previous video of me doing these exercises. I just do it right here in, the space between my kitchen and my family room. And, Danny will do it with me most nights. We'll turn on Game of Thrones or whatever we're watching, and we'll put in an AirPod and we'll do the exercise like while we're watching TV, and it works out so well. And I actually really, really like it. And now I made tiny goals at work about like which bathroom I'm using. I go to the bathroom that's furthest away from my office, and that forces me to do like a lap. I do a lap before I go back to my desk. So I'm up and trying to move. I invested in good shoes. I've talked about that in a previous video. So that's making it easier for me to get up and move my body and get in these steps. But I'm averaging between walking, because the fitness app on your Apple Watch does count like normal walking that's above your normal pace is exercise. So I'm trying to average about an hour a day between my half an hour of like actual working out plus walking throughout the day. A lot of days I'll start my day with 20 minutes on the bike and burn like a quick and easy 150 calories. And then I'll finish the night with a half an hour of WalkFit. And that'll get me somewhere between 300 and 400 calories burned. So that way, if I do eat all of my calories, I know I'm still in a calorie deficit and I feel really good and it's working for me. So as of right now, it is September 8th. And I would say that I started this weight loss journey like the very end of February, maybe early March. So I don't know how long that is. March, April, May, 7 months, and I am down 33 pounds as of today. And I feel fantastic. I wish I would have done measurements from the beginning. When I look at my picture or old videos, I can't get over how different I look. And a lot of that has nothing to do with weight and everything to do with like the puff that was my face, the puff that was my hands and my legs, just holding on to so much fluid because I wasn't moving, wasn't drinking enough water. I was drinking so much soda, and I don't know. That's where I see like majority of the difference. I have a lot more to go. I would like to lose about 100 pounds is where I would be happy. But I'm very happy with every single step that I take, and I feel so good. I have not lost 33 pounds since I lost weight for my wedding, and we'll be married 19 years in May. So it has been a very long time that I have carried extra weight, and with that comes a lot of emotion. I have a lot of childhood trauma that has to do with my body, and so I'm working through that. My surgery back in May, I had a hysterectomy, and that released a lot of childhood trauma that I was not prepared to process. My husband's been phenomenal helping me process all of that, but that was very hard for me. And I feel like with every new like weight milestone, I am having to face things that I have just buried deep inside of me and covered with food and cocktails and, just no love for my body whatsoever. And so that has been difficult. And if you come from a history of trauma and you think you've worked through it and you think you're on the other side, but you're starting a weight loss journey, just know it very well could rear its ugly head. And if that happens for you, I am here for you. I would love to chat. I'm happy to, speak to you privately, and, we can message and support each other. And, yes, I am a professional counselor, but that's not like my role here. My role here is to be a friend, and it's not easy. It's really not, but it's doable. So Going back to work has been fun because I lost majority of my weight over the summer, and so my my coworkers are like, "Wow, you look great," and that is so motivating for me. Putting on my clothes, I bought a large dress. I found this dress at Old Navy. I fell in love with it. It does not have any stretch to it whatsoever, but it was a large and I really wanted it. So I bought it, and I did end up buying like one of those snatchy bodysuits that you wear under your clothes, and I put it on and it fit and looked good. I think another couple of pounds it'll fit even more comfortably, but I'm just, focusing on those non-scale victories, being able to wrap the towel around my body comfortably, being able to get up and walk around comfortably, going down a size in shirts or clothes is phenomenal. Being able to put on a pair of shoes and my feet not being just, massively swollen has been a non-scale victory. So many other ways of celebrating where I'm at, and it's just been wonderful. So hopefully this is encouraging to some of you out there. I am not, an athlete. I am not a professional. I'm not a health nut. I am just a normal mom with normal mom problems. I'm a normal human with trauma history who tried to manage and cope with food, and I'm finding new ways of doing that now. And I never thought that like closing my movement rings and closing my fitness rings on my watch would be so motivating, but it is. And when my watch tells me that I've reached a goal and, congratulates me for having a great day and, had a great day yesterday, let's keep it up for today. Like that is so motivating for me. And if that's motivating for you too, find something that's going to work for you. I'm not a competitive person by any means, like whatsoever, but I do like hitting personal goals. I don't like competing against someone else, and I don't even like competing against myself. I just like hitting personal goals, and that's what I feel like has been happening. So that's it in a nutshell, my friends, and we're gonna keep plugging through. Currently, I am taking Zepbound 5 milligrams at this point. I did just get a prescription for Zepbound 7.5 milligrams, so I'm gonna go up. I have had a wonderful experience with Zepbound. The only thing I will say is it does make me burp a lot. So it does make me burpy. I do always apologize to people like, sorry, it's my medicine. Sorry, it's my medicine. And at the very beginning, it would make me feel nauseous. But I don't feel that way anymore. The other thing is the first day that I take the shot, like 6 or 7 hours after I take my shot, I'm pretty tired. And then the next day I'm pretty tired. It almost makes me feel like my first trimester of pregnancy, like just sleepy. And sometimes like where I inject it is kind of itchy. But that's it. And all of that is manageable. And, if I eat beyond when my body tells me I'm full, I'll be in pain for a little while because it takes a long time for food to move through your digestive system. So don't overeat, don't eat fast, listen to your body. And to people who have commented saying that maybe I had weight loss surgery, I did not. I did have a hysterectomy back in May. I wasn't lying. I've never lied to you guys about anything. But even if I had bariatric surgery, there is nothing wrong with that either. And that was an option on the table that I discussed with my doctor as well. I decided I wanted to try less invasive things first. But I have nothing but positive things to say about weight loss surgery as well. And I know many people who have had extreme success on bariatric surgery, and I would never, ever, ever dismiss that. There is no such thing as cheating when it comes to weight loss, and people who feel like it is cheating probably haven't dealt with weight struggles their entire life. So before you judge or before you accuse someone in a rude way of taking weight loss medication, ask yourself, why would it be a problem even if they did? Whatever is going to help them reach their milestones. This is not about vanity. This is not about being the skinniest or having the most snatched waist. This is about your health and not being a heart attack waiting to happen. And I can't see why anybody would do anything but support that. So thank you guys so much for listening today. We'll get back to our normally scheduled, routine. I just wanted to share a little bit of an update and tell you that every time you tell me something positive about how I'm looking, when you guys say like you can tell your hard work is paying off, keep it up, that is just like, imagine a coin in a piggy bank and it's just filling my piggy bank over and it's just filling it up. And then when it gets so full, I cash it out for something fantastic and then I just start filling it again. So thank you guys so much for all of your positive support. I can't even tell you how much it means to me. And I feel like we have such an awesome community here at Charlotte Grove Farmhouse, and I'm excited to see where we're going. And I love all of you for being here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to put them down below. I will try to answer them. I know I've been terrible at responding to comments. It's not because I don't love all of you and want to answer them, and I do read them. I just don't always have the time. But I do appreciate each and every one of you. So thank you again. I know this was long-winded. Thanks for listening, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.